Welcome back, everybody. Today is Friday, May 31st, 2024. Born on this date in 1981, former Major League pitcher Jake Peavy of Mobile. Today, let's talk about reaction to the Trump verdict, electric school buses, and an execution. And we'll have AL.com columnist John Archibald on to take the weekly quiz. Now, we had a perfect score last week, and I have vowed to not let that happen 2 weeks in a row. We'll see. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. More electric school buses are coming to Alabama, reports AL.com's Dennis Pillion. Federal grant money totaling $16.9 million from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law of 2021 will pay for the buses, which, according to the EPA, will reduce emissions, save money, and clean up the air that children breathe. Now, funding is being distributed so as to bring 25 of the buses to the Huntsville City School System, 5 to Lynette City Schools, 5 to Selma City Schools, 4 to Fort Payne City Schools, 3 to Clay County Schools, 3 buses to Gulf Shores City Schools, and 2 buses each to Montgomery County Schools, Jasper City Schools, and the Alabama Aerospace and Aviation High School. Last year, $11.5 million was awarded to 3 school districts in Albertville, Fairfield, and Tuscumbia to provide the first 29 electric buses. The state of Alabama executed convicted murderer Jamie Ray Mills Thursday evening after the United States Supreme Court had rejected Mills' 2 appeals and a request to stay the execution, reports AL.com Savannah Rinkew. The execution was performed via the lethal injection method, not the newer nitrogen hypoxia method, and nothing out of the ordinary was reported. Mills has claimed that his wife lied when she testified against him, but a federal judge recently wrote that he has not offered any evidence to support that claim. He was convicted, along with his wife, in the horrible June 2004 beating deaths of Floyd and Vera Hills, who were 87 and 72 years old, respectively. They then stole cash and prescription drugs from the couple's home. Jamie Ray Mills was 50 years old when he was executed. The U.S. Department of Labor is going to court over alleged child labor used at Lou Verne's Hyundai plant and 2 other companies, reports AL.com's William Thornton. The Labor Department filed a complaint that says a 13-year-old worked on an assembly line. The suit is asking that Hyundai Smart Alabama, which hired the employee in question and provides parts to Hyundai, and Best Practice Service, which provided the worker to Smart Alabama, all surrender profits that are related to the child labor. Smart Alabama is now one of 2 suppliers that have ended their relationships with third-party staffing agencies under claims that the agencies have falsely certified that they had screened and cleared children as eligible to work. Well, it's now time for the Huntsville is Awesome update of the day. See, listeners in other parts of the state never tire of these. We could make this a daily thing. Readers of Newsweek picked Huntsville International Airport as the best small airport in the country, reports AL.com's William Thornton. The publication pointed toward the airport's ability to serve 1.5 million passengers a year with little hassle and short lines. 14 destinations, 3 dining options, and an outdoor pet park. As a matter of fact, the only downside we can figure is that being at the airport means that you're having to leave Huntsville for a while. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back to do our weekly review quiz with columnist John Archibald. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking around for us. Now, it's Friday, and we've been doing a quiz every Friday and had a lot of fun with it, so we thought we would do it again, but this time, bring in a celebrity. Well, bring in columnist John Archibald. He's a 2-time Pulitzer Prize winning columnist for AL.com. And thanks for joining us for this, John.
Great to be here. Love your show.
Yeah, well, last week we had a perfect score on this quiz. So
God,
that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. So let's just see what happens when we start asking questions this week. I'm
there's going to be no mercy, right?
No mercy at
That's
all.
what
We're
you're
gonna
saying.
we're gonna bring it. Now, I mentioned two Pulitzer prizes. The most recent one for some of the work. You didn't do that as a columnist. You put on your reporting hat again, and recently actually did a column on the topic. Tell us a little bit about the period you put on the Brookside saga.
Well, I'm not sure if it's quite the period, but in the at the end of the Brookside story, the former police chief there was pulled over for speeding in South Alabama and flashed his badge to get out of a job and was charged with impersonating an officer, which was a felony. But he pleaded it last week and down to a lesser offense. So he won't be going to jail, but he won't be allowed to be a police officer in Alabama anymore. So it is kind of a stamp of finality.
Yeah, and it was kind of a surprise because you know I kind of expected the law to kind of come down harsh because there were a lot of folks not pleased with the Brookside tactics of raising money with their police force and that sort of thing. Sort of gave a black eye to law enforcement in Alabama.
Right.
Um, yeah. Well,
That
switch
was the biggest
gears.
surprise in that whole story to me was the number of police officers who were really angry at Brookside for making their lives less safe. Um, and the sheriff of Covington County was one of them who made sure that Mike Jones was charged with that crime.
Yeah, I mean, both in their when a cop goes bad or does something that's seen as bad or illegal. I mean, it hurts them locally, but nationally, what an embarrassment for all of them. Because everybody likes to point and say, "Hey, it's Alabama doing their thing again." But switching gears, speaking of crime, do you see crime in Birmingham coming down when they start the Citizens on Patrol type program?
No, um, you know, I mean, I'm an old cop reporter from back in the day in the '90s and late '80s and early '90s during the so-called crack wars and when homicide rates were, believe it or not, consistently higher. And there's the one thing you kind of learn when you watch it all over the years is that Birmingham has always been a really, really violent place from back in the turn of the 19th century to uh, all the way to the turn of the 20th century. It's up and down, but it's always been a pretty violent place, and it's always skewed a little bit because it's a smaller city and a larger metro, and so the numbers always are pretty bad. But I mean, they're bad now. I mean, it's bad, but there's very little you can do to stop people from killing each other. Very, very little.
John, I'm going to interrupt and ask you to do that again because I think you meant the turn of the 20th century to the turn of the 21st century. You said 19th because that'd be
You want me to do
1800.
math?
That'd be
You have
1800. Would
no
be the turn.
idea what was going on here at the turn of the 18th century.
What century are we in?
No idea what I said.
Just
My point is, it's just really, really hard for police or any of these programs to do anything about homicides because people get mad and they kill each other, and there's so many other issues at play that the hardest thing in the world to do is stop a homicide. So we got to look beyond, city programs to figure this stuff out.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's interesting what you said about going back so many years with violence in Birmingham. It's really across the South, even like antebellum times. I mean, there were a lot of folks I've read walking around in the South with one eye because one of the big deals was gouging a guy's eye out in a tavern fight or whatever. So it's a vigilante background that we have here, and I'm just going on now about crime. John, why don't we get started on taking the quiz? And up top, I always say there's no shame in losing. You're a little lucky because I didn't bring my buzzer this time, and I've really enjoyed
Mm.
using my buzzer on folks. But Ben didn't get it last week. So it's going to be 2 full weeks without using it. Question number 1 on this week's quiz, Friday, May 31st, 2024. What is believed to be Alabama's oldest reinforced concrete hydroelectric dam will be removed from this river in Alabama? A, Tom Bigby River, B, Pea River, C, Black Warrior River, or D, Whiskey River?
That is the Pea River.
Yes. See, I would be hitting the ding buzzer right now in Elba.
Getting to the age where I know everything there is to know about a Pea River.
It's by the way, PEA River is how it's spelled for anyone out there taking notes.
Well, that was a different river.
All right, we're on the playground right now, folks. Question number 2. The FDA and DEA have proposed changes at the federal level that would change the classification of the drug in marijuana. In what way might this actually likely affect Alabama? Okay, now these are a little longer answers. A, it might decriminalize but not legalize the possession of small amounts for personal consumption. B, it might protect harassing legal actions against future medical marijuana dispensaries. C, it might bring tax benefits for businesses in the medical marijuana field. Or D, we might see PSAs featuring Homer Simpson explaining that he's seen no ill effects from use of the drug.
What was A again?
A is it might decriminalize but not legalize possession.
Well, so my answer was going to be that it was going to confuse the issue so that we don't really know the answers to these things. But you've thrown a curveball at me. So, jeez.
That would have been a good answer, actually.
So I don't know how we know the answer to these things, other than the fact we read them in AL.com. So I'm going to say, what was B again?
B was it would protect harassing legal actions against those in the medical marijuana field. C was it might bring tax benefits for businesses in the field.
I'm going to go with A.
A is not the right answer. It's not going to decriminalize. You're going to have to do that on the state level or the local level if they do that. Tax benefits are something that local businesses could see who are in the business of medical marijuana. So, boy, that's a lot of words. I made it tougher. You can blame on Ben Flanagan last week for acing the quiz. We're getting a little bit in the weeds, but you're 1 out of 2.
Yeah, we are getting in the weeds. We really are.
All right. Number 3, which of these factors are not cited as a cause for the heightened hurricane prediction for this coming season? A, warmer than usual Atlantic waters. B, weaker trade winds. C, unstable air over Northwest Africa. Or D, La Nina. Did you wear your scientist hat? We're asking a lot this week.
No, I did not at all. I'm going to go with the one that you said. I'm going to go with B.
Weaker trade winds or unstable air over Northwest Africa?
I'm going to go with unstable air over Northwest Africa.
That's what I thought you were doing. Yes, that is the correct answer. That's not
wow.
Something.
You just really you just bailed me out of that. So
I did, but I really anticipated that. Yeah, I knew what you meant on that one. They ran together just a little bit. Okay, let's do sports. And you've been following Auburn sports really closely, I'm sure, right?
They have sports?
They do. They have men's golf at Auburn. The Auburn men's golf team recently won the national championship. Freshman Jackson Coyven won this award. Let me say that again with a different inflection. They won the national championship, but also their freshman Jackson Coyven won this award, considered the Heisman Trophy of men's college golf. John, I made this quiz so dang hard.
Well, I knew he won something. I'm not sure I'll be able to remember what it was.
Let's give it a shot. This is one you can make a guess at anyway. The Fred Haskins Award, the Justin Leonard Award, the Ben Crenshaw Award, or the Dirk Dorff Award.
What was the last one?
Dirk Dorf Award.
I think it was the Fred Haskins Award.
Absolutely. Ding, ding, ding. All right. You're 3 out of 4. That was, yeah, you know what? As hard as that may have been for typical news, I think it was kind of fair because you could eliminate several of those. All right.
I think it was fair because I got it right. As opposed to the unfair one that I got wrong.
Yeah. Well, the unfair one was just a lot of words, especially for a Friday, you know?
Yeah.
In our business, there's been a lot of words by the time you get to Friday.
That's true.
All right. Question number 5.
Like legendary, iconic, etc.
Well, and marijuana was in there, and that can throw everybody off a little bit.
Sports.
Question number 5. It was recently announced that Birmingham would be home to this awareness-raising competitive sports event in July that is expected to bring competitors from all 50 states and beyond. A, the Blood Donation Ironman. B, the Transplant Games. C, the Colorectal Screening Games. And D, the Rabies Awareness Fun Run Race for the Cure.
Man, I somehow let this get completely by me. So I'm going to go. I don't know how I let this pass. I'm going to go with B.
B, the Transplant Games is absolutely right. You have tied John Hammondtree, who, by the way, I didn't even introduce, but we met earlier, the producer of the show, with 4 out of 5. And that ain't bad because there were 3 or 4 fairly tough questions on this quiz.
Was there a bonus or something to make up for the...
See, you're now expecting me to like ad-lib a joke. No, there's not a bonus.
I don't want special treatment. I get Ben Flanagan to ask me one.
Give Ben to give you the quiz that he took and see how much easier it was. I'm not saying that it was, but you can be the judge of that.
So I got 4 out of 5. So that's an 80, right? So that's
I think that's a B now in high school, right? No, it's
that's
not
a solid B. It's a C.
I think it's a C. No, that's a B. That's right. On the scale they do now, and those were few and far between for me in college. So you did good.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. It's good to
John,
be here.
I appreciate you doing this. You got any big plans coming up for us that you could give us a sneak preview on, or you just going to do some fishing?
I'm working on a podcast with that John Hammondtree of yours. And hopefully we'll have some news on that pretty soon.
Oh, can you give us a hint? What's the topic? What's it going to go?
Well, I mean, it really is based on Eric Robert Rudolph and the bombings here in Birmingham in the Olympic Park and the search and the long trajectory of getting from here to there to here. And it's really a pretty fascinating story that has a lot of both true crime and cultural implications. So hopefully we'll have that out in the not too distant future.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's a must listen. Well, yeah. Thanks John for helping us out. Thanks everybody for listening. We're gonna be back here bright and early Monday. Till then, y'all come see what we're doing on the internet at al.com.